You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the damn Wickline show. And as our cold open shows, I'm back. That's right. So I was gone most of last week and on and off over the last couple weeks. And I'll be honest, it took a while to figure out what the hell was going on. I had some bad infections going on. I am still on an IV. So I'm playing injured. I'm stucking it up, but I can't really complain because my producer today, Kyle, has been doing that for a long time. He's had the similar issues and always showed up for work and actually did some of his work from the hospital. So Kyle makes me look like a pussy at this point. And I probably shouldn't have said that word, but I'm still on medication, so I think I can get away with it. Anyway,
Dan was referring to animals of the feline variety.
Yes, I look like a kitten, little kitty cat. So, but yeah, so I am back close to full action as I'm going to get. I will be here tonight for the in-stores this week, which will be Kyle and Jay, as well as myself, or as we say, Kyle, Dan, period, and Jay. So, yeah, I spent almost 4 days in the hospital. I went in last Wednesday morning. I did my show Tuesday, did the evening show, stayed up, watched Kenobi and Miss Marvel, and then 4:30 in the morning and went, go into the emergency room. And I was there until Saturday afternoon, which was an interesting experience because I am 6'6", and the beds in the hospital aren't. I was laying in beds that...
Bro, you got to get you a bed extender.
Yes, and they didn't have one. And my feet hang off. Basically, the end of the bed hits my calf. And my feet are the problem, so I have these hanging off the end of the bed. At one night, a nurse fully ran into one of my feet, which was interesting. But God bless the staff at the hospital. They were all super nice, except for the chef, who is a wizard at making food with no flavor whatsoever. But
you have salt.
Oh my God, I was gonna have my nephew smuggle me in seasoning just so I could fix up the food.
Dude, you know? I take it when I know I'm going in. I take a packet of Mrs. Dash and a salt shaker with me.
Yeah.
And then just so you know for next time, the thing on the end of the bed actually comes off.
Not on these. That's where the controls are in the bed.
Every bed they come off because that's where they put the bed extender. And if they take that bed into an OR, they can slide you right through the bottom of the bed onto the OR table. So,
that's not how the hospital beds work here.
I guarantee every hospital bed in the country is the same way. But they probably won't let you because you're a fall risk. That's where the alarms are. Don't ask me how I know how to disable the alarms.
Well, they actually tried to bring in another bed, And it was a huge bed, but it had a freaking air mattress.
Did it have blue lights on the bottom?
No.
Okay.
But they brought in this bed, and it was huge. And I get in it, and there's a pump going. So you have this loud air compressor going constantly. And then suddenly the compressor stopped, and the bed went, and now I'm laying on a metal frame.
So there's a new type of hospital bed that's out there that I've had some experience with that has air in the mattress and this compressor that runs that's for people who can't move themselves.
Uh-huh.
And when they roll over or shift their weight, the bed adjusts so that they don't get bed sores.
Yes.
I like to call it the insomnia mattress.
Uh-huh.
Because the noise is so loud and it adjusting to someone our size means you'd never sleep.
Yeah, that's what they tried to bring in, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah. So the ones I've had have blue lights on the bottom, which are super cool, but it makes you feel like you're trying to sleep in an alien spaceship.
Yeah. So, the hospital was not a fun experience. On the last day, the last nurse that came in, her name was Glaren. Super, super nice woman. And she found me sitting on the side of the bed, wrapped with a sheet and a blanket around me. My hair is all down. I haven't shaved in a while. I need to shave. But I look like a homeless guy sitting on the edge of the bed like this. And she's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Just can't sleep. Tired. Just want to go home." So she ran off, read what had been going on with me, and then spent that morning doing everything in her power to get me everything I needed to get out of the hospital. To the point where she realized they were not going to be able to get a wheelchair for me quickly, and they let me walk out, which they never do. So
I almost always walk out.
Yeah.
But that's almost always because if I don't, how are we going to get the stupid knee scooter out? They're like, "Hey, we're supposed to give you a wheelchair, but none of the nurses can ride this thing. How are we going to get it out?" I'm like, "I'll just ride it." So they almost always let me walk out. It's really funny when you've been sick as long as I have.
Mm-hmm.
The little tricks and stuff you learn in the hospital system.
Yeah.
Like, again, getting a bed extender. Well, they don't have one, but I guarantee you another hospital in the system had one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you talk to your patient services rep, which you have, they will get it from another hospital in the system. Like, and they have to, because it's the law.
I have not done hospitals, but this is only the second time I've ever been in a hospital, so I'm hoping it's my last.
In your whole life, I've been in the hospital more than you this year.
Yeah. I spent one other night in the hospital, and that was last year. But prior to that, I had never been in the hospital overnight.
I'm feeling like that scene at the end of the Book of Obi-Wan or Book of Mandalorian, where he's in the back of the tank.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, yes, this is good. I need this. Like, I'm starting to feel like, the Mandalorian at the beginning of the Mandalorian. Like, or it's like, just let me heal, damn it.
Yeah, no, I've pretty much been a tank my whole life, just kind of rolling on. No, I'm fine. I'm good. Rolling on. And it just got to a point where I couldn't. So, but working to get over this and get back up to full speed. But I am well enough to do my shows. And
hey, before we move on,
yeah,
what's in the IV? What kind of is it? Do you have like daptomycin, vancomycin?
It's called Zosyn. It's an antibacterial.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have any of the fun stuff that if it infiltrates, like you'll lose your arm, which is the stuff they keep putting me on.
No, nothing like that. At least nothing they've told me about.
Yeah, the IV I was on last time, they're like, look, if you start to have any pain at the site of the injection when you're on the IV, you call us immediately and we will send somebody 24/7, 365, day or night. Because if this infiltrates and get into the muscle, you'll lose your arm.
Nope.
I'm going, oh, is there something else I can take? And they're like, no. Great, thanks.
Yeah. No. Not that bad. So, thank you, Josh. Glad to be back. Yeah, hospitals definitely do suck, Snapman. And yeah, Jay, I'm 6'6". And I did not play basketball in high school because I went to high school with a guy named Scott Williams, who was 7 feet tall, had a size 19 shoe, and ended up going on to play at North Carolina and then in the NBA for many different teams. But for a while, he was on the Chicago Bulls with Jordan and won a ring with them. So I'm not tall. I'm just an average height guy because Scott was tall. So, hey, cool gamer. Good to see you. So nice you guys to pop up. All right. We are going to get to our topics today. Since I got home from the hospital on Saturday, I thought, it's already been a bad day. Let's watch Morbius. How bad could Morbius be? You know, because, there was just so much hatred out there and vitriol for Morbius. I thought, I bought it. I like owning the discs. I'm a media guy still. I like owning the things. And plus, you never know when streaming services are going to go out of business. You never know. So I like to own the media. But now, I had seen the trailer for Morbius, full frontal sinus lobotomy, greater than Morbius. Have you seen Morbius, Kyle?
I have.
Really? And you hated it?
I could not. Well, okay. I couldn't stand it. But in the grand scheme of things I couldn't stand, it still ranks higher than Top Gun Octogenarian Ward and the stupid dinosaur movie.
Okay. I watched it, and first thing, I think the trailer. Yeah, Jay's right. Kyle hates everything. I thought the trailer did it a disservice because there was so much in the trailer that had nothing to do with the movie. Scenes of references to Spider-Man and scenes with the Vulture in it and the outdoor scenes and Tyrese Gibson's mechanical arm and all of this stuff. And I know he still has a mechanical arm, but we don't really even see it in the movie. There's no scene in the woods. There's a scene in the trailer where Morbius is sitting there talking to the older doctor guy, and that never happens in the release. There's no scenes with Michael Keaton in the movie itself. They only happen in the end credits. There's no images of Spider-Man with the word murderer across it. There's like two vague references to Venom, one more obvious than the other. Other than that, there's very little of that stuff from the trailer in it. So if you went in thinking it was going to be this really connected to the other movies and stuff like that, that's not there. So then you got to look at what you do end up with. And I didn't hate it. it was okay. I kind of liked the action scenes. The way they filmed the movement and stuff was interesting. I don't know if I would have done that if I was making the movie, but I get they were doing something different. Matt Smith's villain was very over the top, but in a lot of ways, it felt to me like a late 90s, early 2000s Marvel movie. You know, similar to the Ghost Rider movie or, you know, Daredevil or the Punishers. You know, it felt like that. It wasn't the Marvel movies now, the MCU films, the Kevin Feige led films, they're better. I mean, just hands down. But this wasn't that far off from the Venom movies. You know? I mean, I get it's not a great movie, but I don't think it deserved all the vitriol that came out about it either. It's just, you know, it's not that bad a movie. It's a pretty straightforward plot. Basically, a man's trying to cure this disease he has. A side effect of it is he creates artificial blood, which helps us save a lot of lives, but he doesn't think it's that great because he hasn't cured the one thing he was trying to cure. And in doing so, he ends up basically turning himself into a vampire. Not an actual vampire, but, you know, a synthetic vampire. And it ends up his best friend becomes converted. That becomes, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward movie. There's not a lot of twists and turns. And again, it's not great, but it's not horrible. I didn't regret having watched it. I mean, I kind of like to see what they're going to do with the character next and how it's going to connect to Venom. And I thought the first of the end credit scenes, and I mean, you guys have probably seen it by now, or if you haven't, but there's 2 end credit scenes. And the first one just has Michael Keaton's Adrian Toomes show up there because of the No Way Home thing. He just ends up on a different world. And it's like, okay, odd, but it works. But then there's a second post-credit scene that doesn't make a lot of sense. And had they cut that, I really don't think I'd have much to complain about the movie. You know? Josh says, that is a comment. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. That's a common reaction I've heard. If this came out after Blade, it would have been awesome. We just expect a bit more now. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty fair. Jay says, part of me still believes if Marvel movie is not directly tied to MCU, people automatically hate on it. Yeah, that's pretty fair as well. Kyle says, I think a lot of the trailer was about stuff that was originally in it, but it looked to me to have been recut 3 or 4 times. Yeah, from what I understand, Avi Arad went in and just hack slashed it. And
when you have a movie that's delayed 2.5 years almost,
yeah,
there's no reason not to go back and say, okay, well, now in our timeline, this comes out after this and after this and after this and after this, and now it makes no sense, right? So you have to recut the movie.
Yeah.
And so taking the Spider-Man stuff out makes sense because this movie comes after everybody would have forgotten who Spider-Man is. Like,
right.
So all of the stuff in the trailer, which the trailer had me really excited for this movie. Because I'm like, oh, this could be a super fun horror movie in the superhero world. And because it's Morbius and I only know a little bit about Morbius, I can get behind it because I don't really care. But now it's one of those things, it's like, okay, none of the stuff that I was looking forward to is here. It's this other movie now. And that's, I think, part of why I had problems with it, you know? Like,
yeah.
It's like going, I felt like it was like going to the carnival and looking forward to the elephant ear guy and the scrambler, and instead they have funnel cakes and bumper cars. Like, it's still good, but not the stuff you wanted.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you on that. I think it did take out a lot of the stuff we were expecting, but in a lot of ways, I think that was actually a good thing, because I don't think it needed to be tied that much into the MCU. I think they're better off. I mean, again, you get 2 Venom references, the vague one about, we have anything like this in San Francisco, and then we get him actually saying he's Venom. Other than that, there's no ties to other movies, and I think it's fine. I think Morbius by itself is just a basic movie, and I don't have a problem with it. I kind of enjoyed it. And maybe it was the fact I'd been watching crap TV for 4 days, but I was able to get into the movie and just kind of enjoyed it. I thought Jared Leto was fine. I liked Matt Smith being kind of the over-the-top villain. And I even understood where it came from. Sometimes they have the over-the-top villain and you don't get it. But here's a guy who spent his entire life being sick, where he has to have, a transfusion once a day, and being picked on his whole life. And suddenly he's given these powers and abilities, and he's strong and he's healthy. I totally get him overreacting like that, just living it up, drinking it in. So I'm curious what some of the deleted scenes were, because it seems like having Tyrese Gibson and Al Madrigal as the cops, that there was more for them to do, but a lot of that got taken out. So their parts became very tiny and insignificant. Kyle says, if you're going to spend any time in the hospital, you need to memorize the Friends rerun schedule and then pick a second sitcom. The Office, Everybody Loves Raymond, Mounting. The problem is I hate sitcoms.
Yeah, but that's all that's on. Unless you want to watch Judge Jerry Springer.
I would have put it on CNN and just left it, but I didn't even have that option. I watched The View.
The hospital that I generally stay in doesn't get ESPN, which is just brutal, because that's the thing. Like, when there's no sitcoms on, and your options are Days of Our Lives or Judge Jerry Springer, you can at least go to ESPN and hear Michael A. Smith yell about something.
True.
Not the case for me. So I had to memorize the Friends schedule, which you can get through 20 hours a day with only Friends on.
Nope, couldn't find any of that. Josh says, that'll make you more sick. Yes. Jay says, hell, if I woke up being as tall as y'all, I'd live up to 2. Dunking basketballs, reaching stuff on top shelf. That's about it, actually. I was in completely off topic, but from what Jay said, I was in the grocery store a couple weeks ago, and I was getting some Dr. Pepper Zero, and all the 2 liters are on the top shelf of that row. And I reached up and I was grabbing them off of there. And this tall woman came walking down the aisle, and she goes, hello, fellow tall person. And we ended up having this conversation about being tall. It was just a very odd, surrealistic moment about how nice it is to be able to get the stuff off the top shelf.
All right, to add on to this, not because this is a show about being tall, but I was in the grocery store, and they were out of bread. It looked like, but because it was the shipment, you could see it was sitting on the pallet ready to go out, but they just hadn't stocked the shelves. But on the top row, nice soft loaves of bread that no one but me could reach. And it was like, I am the king of the world right now. Here, peasants, come and get these loaves of bread.
Come worship at my feet.
Right. Let them eat wonder.
Nice. So yeah, Morbius. I liked it a lot more than I expected. Again, it's not great, but it's a fun little movie. I thought Leto was fun. I thought Smith was fun. I'm curious because of the way it ended with Martine. I think that has potential. I'd watch another one, but then I watched both Venom movies. I like this little universe they're starting to build there. I'm curious what they're going to do with Kraven, since I think he's supposed to be an animal protector now or something. Jay says, I have to climb inside my freezers to stock stuff on the top shelf. See, Jay, you seem tall to me, and Kyle doesn't seem tall to me. But then I only talk to you guys like this.
I'm 6'3".
Yeah. You keep saying that, but you don't seem tall.
Yeah, I carry it well.
And of course, every nurse I had at the hospital won, And Jay says, I'm built like a bulldog. Josh says, Jay, if you never had to be concerned about a ceiling fan might smack you in the head, that's something tall gang have our problems too. Yes, I have hit my head on ceiling fans. Yeah. If you've had to open this...
I broke a sconce on a 60-year-old light fixture the other day with my head.
I've had to open sunroofs on cars so I could drive them.
Yeah, I can't ride in a Honda. Like
prom night, I drove an MR2.
Wow.
Folded in there. Couldn't step on the clutch because my leg was pressed against the dashboard, so I just kind of kicked it with my toe. Kyle says, Morbius will live on my shelf with the Lady Ghostbusters, every John Candy movie, and Tommy Boy. Turn your brain off movie. Yes. Yeah. It's like I said, it's right up there with Venom. I think it works with Venom. That little universe they're building there. It's not MCU quality. It's its own level, but it's not horrible, So we'll put it at that. And you know what? Let's go ahead and take our commercial break. We're running a little later, but we'll come back and we're going to talk about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So we'll be right back.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there. Hi there. Hello there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome, everybody. It's Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out.
There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I'm your host, Henry Copeland. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mush Mosh.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Game Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in the minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadet.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, everyone, for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectibles.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box? What's in the Box?
Comic culture and sales.
Get the inside scoop on everything happening at The Experience every week. Join our mailing list by scanning the QR code at the bottom of the screen and then watching your email inbox.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Dan Wickline Show here on The Experience. By the way, I do have a new pick of the week. This is Champions number 1. I have it because Miss Marvel. We're doing the Miss Marvel show. We'll be talking about that on Thursday. Tomorrow we'll talk about the boys. But this is the John Cassidy exclusive that you can get through Dynamic Forces. They have this, and then I think I have it here. I had it here, and I've lost it. Somewhere I have, there it is, the black and white version that you can get on Dynamic Forces, but even has a certificate of authenticity. Isn't that cool? But these are pretty cool. You can get it on the Dynamic Forces website, but John Cassidy exclusive. But check your local comic shops. This is a great book because it has not only Miss Marvel, who's got her own show now. It's got Miles Morales Spider-Man. It's got Nova. We're going to get a Nova series soon. It's got Amadeus Cho as the Awesome Hulk. And it's got Cyclops, who's always been my favorite X-Men. I'm not sure why he's running around with a bunch of young kids, so I got to read it and check it out. But that's the new pick of the week, Champions number 1, with the John Cassidy exclusive cover. All right, so we are going to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi. That wrapped up on Tuesday of last week, Tuesday, Wednesday. And a lot of these series that have been on Disney Plus, you get that debate at the end, like, oh, they should have ended it this way, I should have ended it that way. Kyle has not begun Obi-Wan yet, but I was actually very satisfied with the ending of this series. I kind of felt that they went into it doing something specific, and by the end of it, they had achieved that. Now, what they were going in, I don't think we realized what they were going for in there, but when we get out of it, we see it. And that was, we're not just go, oh, what was Ben up to when he was on Tatooine all those years? He was on there for 19 years. What was he doing? That wasn't what they were trying to tell us the story of. What the story they were telling us was the story of him basically dealing with PTSD from Order 66, having his way of life destroyed, being betrayed by his best friend, losing the people he's close to, just all the stuff that he went through, and how he had to abandon everything that was what made him Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then what allowed him to reconnect with that, to get over that, but also what we would explain why in later years, Leia and Han would name their son after him. Because if you think about it, what we knew before this series was Princess Leia called upon Obi-Wan Kenobi, who had served with her father during the Clone Wars, or helped her father during the Clone Wars, and that he showed up with Luke and when she was being rescued. That was the extent of what Leia knew about Ben, was he was this guy that helped Luke and that he had worked with her father. But they had no interactions that we knew of prior to that. Han and Ben weren't close. So it would make sense had Luke named his son Ben, but for Han and Leia to name their son Ben didn't make a lot of sense. So in a way, that's what this series was. The whole series was Qui-Gon Jinn's fault. Yeah, in a way. Yeah. I could see that. Well, no, I mean, was it or was it Yoda's fault?
If Qui-Gon had listened to Yoda, none of this would have ever happened.
Yeah, but Yoda's the one that chose to have Obi-Wan work with Qui-Gon.
Right, but when Qui-Gon found Anakin and brought him back in front of the council, and Yoda's like, no, I sense in him much fear. If Qui-Gon had been like, okay, Yoda, you're smarter than me at this, we'll just send him back, none of this would ever happen.
Yeah. True.
In the words of Weird Al, Qui-Gon told Yoda to stick it in his pointy ear, and that's where everything went off the rails.
So if Mace Windu had said, I'll take care of the boy, took him around back, chopped his head off, and been done with it?
No, they could have just sent him back to like race pod racers for the blue guy. Like,
no, I like the idea that Mace was the executioner. You know,
the quote that I'm living for recently is Sam Jackson saying, "Look, if I never do another serious movie again, I'm good just being Mace Windu and Nick Fury for the rest of my career."
Yes, I love that.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm here for it.
Yeah, he says, I'm not chasing statues.
Right. And guess what, dude? Your Mace Windu turn deserves a statue of some kind, even if it is just like a Funko Pop.
We need more Mace Windu. I still don't believe he died.
Yeah, I don't either. And you're talking to a guy who has a purple lightsaber. Like, I have a purple and I have an orange lightsaber. Those are my two. So, like, I'm a huge Mace Windu fan. And so what I want, no lie, is when the Star Wars and the Marvel Universe cross over, when they get to that point in when Disney bought Star Wars, a Mace Windu, Nick Fury team crossover in like a what if story.
Yeah.
Where it's like Mace Windu is the Nick Fury of the Jedi Council and Nick Fury is the Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. and they have to team up to defeat like Wish.com Thanos.
Why Wish.com Thanos?
Because regular Thanos has already been defeated, so we need to come up with a weaker, not as good version.
So Darth Maul.
If Darth Maul was purple and snappy, I'm all for Ray Park just doing whatever he wants as Darth Maul.
Yeah,
like I'm a big fan of Ray Park as well.
Mm-hmm.
But like I want this one-off half-hour, 45-minute, whatever, where they're like, oh, we could totally kill this guy super easy, but we have to deal with the fact that we look alike.
Yeah.
Like it turns into a what is that movie? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito twins situation, but they actually look the same.
What if they swapped? So someone comes after Nick Fury, and it turns out
it's a Freaky Friday situation.
Well, no, but just Mace Windu poses as Nick Fury.
I like my new idea of it being Freaky Friday. Like their consciousness just swap, but they look the same.
Nick Fury with a lightsaber.
Hey, I'm here for it, man.
Yeah, he sort of had one in Winter Soldier. He had that plasma torch thing that cut the hole in the ground and let him to escape.
It's true. I mean, he has. I wouldn't be shocked if Nick Fury has some version of the Force, like if he has metachlorians, because if we're gonna go back to this part of Star Wars, we have to accept that metachlorians exist. But like, you know, his metachlorians are on the scale, but still high. Like he's at the top of the growth chart.
Yeah. Yeah. Edward von Bissenstein, and I was going to say this name no matter what because it's a great name. The way the Obi-Wan series ended was kind of dumb. Obi is kind of a tool. He had Darth beaten. All he had to do was finish him off, and it would have been the end of it. Then in A New Hope, Obi had a chance again and just closed his saber and died. He's a tool. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. And I say that only because Vader was beaten at the end of the Obi-Wan series. And Kenobi's not a killer. Sure, Mace Windu would have offed him in a heartbeat. But not Kenobi. That's not his thing. So I understand him letting him live. And then the thing in Star Wars, at that point, I think Vader was probably just too strong. And Obi-Wan had gotten old. So maybe he felt he could, by sacrificing himself, he could actually do more good as a distraction. Obi had no problem killing Darth Maul. But Darth Maul was just a guy that had killed Qui-Gon Jinn. Darth Vader was Anakin, was his brother. So if you're going to take...
We know that he didn't kill Darth Maul because the other series existed. And we saw him in Solo.
Well, no, in Rebels he dies.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, Obi-Wan kills him in Rebels. So, yeah, and then he's just finishing the job. He'd already done it once. Jay says, just go meta, and they both meet Sam Jackson. Maybe they all meet at that guy who has all these Sam Jackson action figures house.
If they do that, it's just a Capital One commercial.
Yes. That's where I was going with that. Josh says, Gendy Tarkovsky's animated series, Mace Windu, is best Mace Windu. Yeah. We just need more Mace Windu. That's all it is. We just need more Mace Windu. Edward says, but Anakin has killed all the younglings and countless others. This is a problem when they do prequels. I just blow it off. For me, Star Wars starts with Rogue One and ends with The Mandalorian. I can't argue with you on that. You know, Spider Body Darth Maul. I enjoyed the Obi-Wan series. I thought it was a good story showing his character arc from the PTSD and stuff to being connected to the Force again. I think I would like to had a little more Qui-Gon Jinn at the end, more than the little, I was always here. You couldn't see me yet thing. But Edward says, I love your Sam Jackson suggestion. If only he could sneak in an MF or two. Yes.
So I have a thought on what Ed said about Anakin killed all the younglings and countless others, yada yada yada. Mm-hmm. Here's my problem, right? Is it easier for you to kill someone that you don't know that is in opposition to you, or kill your best friend / brother despite what they've done? Would you help a family member who you're particularly close to avoid getting arrested? Is basically the question you're asking, right? Mm-hmm. And if you would, then you're like Obi-Wan, which is what makes Obi-Wan a weak Jedi. He's not the strongest Jedi. You see Yoda and Mace and some of the other guys who are able to put aside the human emotions, to focus on their role in the Force. And Obi-Wan suffers from not being able to do that. So I think the problem is that we're trying to make Obi-Wan conform to what the traditional role of a Jedi would be. Yeah. And we can't, because he's not a traditional Jedi.
Well, I also find it interesting that Edward's complaint about Obi-Wan is the exact opposite that everybody was upset about for Zack Snyder's version of Superman. Superman killed Zod because he didn't see another way. All the stuff Zod had done. Superman can't kill. But Obi-Wan can. Sometimes it's not in someone's nature to kill, especially when it's someone that you are close to. It's still Anakin, you know? Vader is still Anakin. And maybe he can't divorce himself from that. He can't separate himself from that. That was his brother, his friend, you know? That's difficult. So I understand it. Just like I understood Superman killing Zod at that moment. But we have our images of these characters that we get stuck in. And when a writer goes a different direction than we believe it should be, it becomes difficult for us to take. You know? Paul Story, who was doing the Pop Culture Writers with me for a long time, he still cannot accept that Sharon Carter can be the power broker. She has to be a scroll, or it's a plot or something, because, you know, Sharon Carter can't be a bad guy because Paul's obsessed with that character. Kyle says, I still prefer sending Zod into the mirror thing from Superman 2 to the negative zone. Yep. And by the way, Jay, I am not on with you on Rogue One being the best of the new movies. My problem with Rogue One is that it's not a movie. Rogue One is a bridge. In a musical term, it's a bridge. You've got two sets of sequels, or you've got this event that we know of, and it's just telling you about that event. There's no character growth. There's no story arc or anything. It's just simply a Dirty Dozen type mission. It's entertaining as hell. From that point of view, it's good. But as an actual movie, no one could sit down and watch Rogue One as a standalone. It needs the other connectors. By itself, it's not a movie. It's just part of the franchise. So, but again, it's enjoyable. It is, you know. I'm also a fan of the Solo movie, so maybe I'm that guy that watches all these things and think they're not as bad as I thought. But hey, Kyle, since we're at 50 minutes, we usually do a second commercial. Should we do the second commercial or just run on? Okay. Just thought I'd check. Okay, Jay says I can
Here,
agree with
let's do this. Hey, everybody, sign up for the mailing list. End of second commercial.
Yes, please sign up for the mailing list. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons. And remember, we have stuff on Twitch too. So, and whatever you do on Twitch, do that. I don't know if it's like you got a Twitch or something, but
what happens on Twitch stays on Twitch.
Right. Edward says, I agree. The way they played Obi, I don't believe Obi-Wan was ever a Jedi Knight. He was a terrible teacher that messed up with Anakin, and Yoda had to train Luke in the end. He fumbled stuff up. He had so many chances to do something positive and blew them all. If Obi didn't ever kill, that's fine. But he killed hundreds of stormtroopers, Darth Maul, etc. It doesn't make sense. You know Darth wants to kill you and everything else. You know Luke and Leia are in danger if Darth finds out. Yeah. Again, but the emotional impact of it being Anakin is the difference. You know, some people can't put that aside. I think that's the thing, is that Obi-Wan is human at the end of it. Yeah. But I enjoyed the episode, the series quite a bit. I really liked how they wrapped things up. I love that they gave us a hello there, and where they gave it to us. Yeah, a Jedi Knight is supposed to be able to control his emotions. And every single one of them that has tried to control their emotions ends up having nothing but problems. So yeah, he's bad at his job. He's a flawed character.
I think too we have to look at the nuance of existence in Obi-Wan's like story, right? Like being a human is not as black and white as the Jedi Council would have it be. Being a living being, it's not as black and white as the Jedi Council would have it be. So you have to take into account the nuance of that particular character in that particular situation at that particular time. So killing stormtroopers. Well, here's the thing. If he doesn't, what's going to happen to him? Stormtrooper wise, they're going to die anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so he's really not doing anything that isn't already going to happen to him. Darth Maul. Yes, he kills Darth Maul. But again, Darth Maul is someone who killed his best friend, his mentor.
Yeah.
So there's a level of anger there that he's dealing with, which, by the way, is what has him leaning towards the dark side. And then he gets in this situation where the person he was supposed to care for, who was his brother, is completely flipped, and he can't bring himself to kill him. Well, okay, that makes total sense to me in terms of a flawed, nuanced existence.
Yeah.
Because every situation is every situation. There is no one path to a right answer on any of them.
Yep. And if you think about it, Obi-Wan was a Padawan, got bumped up to Jedi Knight, and then like a week later, Qui-Gon's killed, and he's now has his own Padawan to train. So there was no real time as a Jedi Knight before becoming a master. And training, if anything, the problem here is Yoda's for not going, no, you're too inexperienced to train someone. We're going to give Anakin to Plo Koon or the guy with the tall head or the guy with the face mask or something, somebody else, or Mace. Going to give him the Mace Windu. But they went, oh no, Obi-Wan, train him, it'll be fine. So, yeah, there's some definite questionable Jedi Council decisions involved in the prequels. So, but that's what happens when you write the middle of a story and then go back and try to write the beginning. So, overall, though, like I said, I thought it was a cool series. I thought some of the characters were neat. The fact that they keep making us care about droids and then killing them. IG-11, Ned B. Josh says, Yoda was dealing with being CG then. He had his own problems. Yeah, that trying to adapt from going from CG or from being a puppet to CG, that takes a lot out of you. Edward says, yeah, but he cuts off Anakin's arm and legs and leaves him to burn to death on the side of a hill. Did he show compassion there? I don't think so. True compassion would have finished him off. Okay. Yes. Absolutely on that one. He should have finished him off instead of leaving him as a charcoal briquette on the side of Mustafar. That was kind of screwed up. I'll give you that. Yeah, that was... He should have ended it, and that would have... That would have changed everything. By the way, the whole the whole Grand Inquisitor thing, I think, is still kind of funny. It's like, oh, we killed the Grand Inquisitor. No, we didn't. Ha. That's it. He just comes back. Well, as long as continuity is taken care of. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for joining me, and for the fun conversation. It's always great when you guys are very active in chat and get into the conversation. I hope we can continue that. Tomorrow we will talk about The Boys, which just had such an amazing episode with Herogasm. If you haven't seen it, take the time, get caught up on The Boys, and come chat with us tomorrow for that. We'll talk about Miss Marvel on Thursday, and I need to sit down and watch Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness. And again, we'll do a talk about that as well. Just don't know how quickly that's going to happen. But I thank you guys for tuning in. Kyle, what's up next? We got is Amani back? What?
Dinner.
Dinner's next. Miss Jen's up tonight with Minute to Skim It.
Yep.
And then Jay and I and Kyle will be here to do in-stores this week at 5 o'clock. So stick around for that. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for The Boys. Good night, everyone.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links